Hello and welcome back. My name is Aiden Kanezi, here from the Serpent and Dove Network. I am compelled once again to speak from the heart, here on behalf of Nipaturuq magazine, here way up north in Inuvic. Also, I was requested to speak on the matter of racism by the magazine of Tusaayaksat as well. That is another magazine based out of the north here, with the ethnicity of the Inuit people, which I am of genetic dispositional inheritance. So I'm excited to be here once again. Last time I spoke, it was on the same topic of racism, on part one of Indigenous people and the enigma of racism. Now, racism is, in fact, an enigma, considering the fact that it is still taking place today and nobody seems to understand fully or comprehend why such a beautiful race of people, or such a beautiful and magnificent race of various peoples and land races and ethnicities, are still to this day being degraded and being devalued, and the assimilation of Indigenous people takes place, and this assimilation is an ongoing continuation of the institutionalization of what was once a natural and free people. Now, to get more of an insight of what I am about to say today, I would recommend that all who are watching this go back and listen to my former podcasts. I do speak a bit, although it is not fully I'm not done, considering that the Indigenous People and Enigma of Racism series is only on part one, and I have yet to go through the entirety of the series, although I am compelled here to speak on the matter of racism once more on behalf of Nipaturuq and Tusaayaksat. Those are the magazines I spoke of. Now, I have here some documentation. I hope you can read this fine. But I have here a few slides, some documents that I've just put together. Now, this series here is called Racism, Causes and Solutions. Now, when we get down to the root causal factors of what is taking place in today's circumstance, we can understand what are the solutions and what must happen in order for us to fully achieve reconciliation and unity and common ground between Indigenous people and Europeans, colonizers, so to speak. So today, like I said, as always, I am compelled to speak from the heart, so that my words and teachings and lectures would not go over your head, which is why I take the meticulous effort and time to really define everything and go through this as diligent as possible. So why don't we continue here? Why don't we go on? I've got here a better look. We will start with the year is 2020, and we must wake up to reality. It's all about vision and giving witness to all forms of degradation of human consciousness. The age we currently live in, with dynamics of the human consciousness in which one must exert more conscious effort to respect oneself, compared to seeing the faults in others and pointing the finger outwards, rather than pointing it within, which is what we need to do. We need to look within. The answer is within. All lies within. So, compared to seeing the faults in others, which is a lot like what racism is like, we've got people pointing the fingers saying that you deserve this, or we deserve this, or you should do that. If not, we're gonna do this. You get the idea. So, this is admittedly easier than having to look within and respecting oneself. Now, to respect oneself is very, very difficult. It's difficult. And to exemplify this, what I am saying, to simply forget to brush your own teeth, your own nose that sits above your mouth cannot even detect that, although everybody in the room can. So that's how easy it is to look externally and spot the differences, the nuances, and the discrepancies between each other. And like I said, it's so easy to point the finger, but it's like that for a reason. The age and the era that we are in has set out for it to be so that we can come together and be the missing puzzle pieces that we think are gone. You see, we are the puzzle piece to each other. When I say we, I mean all of us collectively. Now, there are Europeans with native inheritance and genetic dispositions alike, if you can wrap your mind around that. So, I would like to add that us Indigenous in Northern Canada as Inuit, and I will say specifically for the Inuit, that we have some correlations and some similarities between the Mongolians. We have similarities between Eastern Asia. We have similarities between other various ethnicities. And same with the North American indigenous Indians, so to speak. Now, I use that term very liberally, only because everybody else seems to use that word, but I do go into the etymological root of these words and why they are so. So North American indigenous, such as Gwich'in, Hopi, Mohawk, etc., we have similarities between the Mexicans. We have similarities between tribes in South America, Africans, etc. I mean, we're all so interconnected. It's just so up in our face now. I just had to add that there. And why don't I continue here? Consider the definition of self-respect. Now, this statement here, I see, I give witness, that's a very powerful statement. And when we all band together and simply say that what is taking place, I see, and it does not go unnoticed, it does not go unreconciled, all is brought to the light, all is acknowledged, even if it does not seem so. Now, I've got my cup of coffee here. I hope everybody is comfortably sitting and observing and watching, and I hope you are doing good wherever you are, so pardon me. Now, that statement there, I see, it's a very powerful one, and we need to be saying this a whole lot more, especially in light and context to all that is taking place in today's circumstance regarding racism and the enigma therein. So, why don't I continue? This is a conversation that must be had, and there is no getting around it. We must go through it. That is the only way. If not, we are segmented within ourselves. We are colonized within ourselves. Now, I've spoke of that word as well. If you do not understand what I am saying, I encourage you to go back and listen to the previous podcasts. No? We must go through it. For the cries and decrees of the elders and ancient ones lie within the confines of our blood, our bloodlines, the DNA, the genetics, and within the soul, because there is no setting apart genetics and the body from the soul and the mind and the emotion. These are energetic bodies which are intertwined, and again, that recurring theme of interconnectedness. Everything is connected, and you will come to learn that here as I speak. For the elders and ancient ones also see and give witness. Now nobody left. Nobody's truly gone. When you dream and you see your elders, and when you give witness, they are also giving witness. They are also looking down on us, watching and waiting. Now, if that does not ring true to you, you who are watching, then perhaps you know who you are. I think that is enough said. It is the year 2020. The optometrist will tell you that if you had good vision, you will have 20/20 eyesight. Now this is set to be by the universe and the stars, the forces of the universe, so to speak, the multiverse. Now that is a very profound analogy. It is analogous, it is synonymous to the year, the circumstance, the context, and its relation to the symbolic representation, the syncretic qualities of humans and eyesight, and how doctors use these languages and these specific numbers, tying in sciences of numerology and syncretic shamanistic wisdom. Now this is where science is only catching up to shamanism and the ancient sciences, the ancient wisdom that our elders and our people once held, but it is being awakened. Like I said, the decrees of the elders and the ancient ones lie within the genetics and within the blood. Now when I say that, that is what I speak of right here. That is the connection I intend to incur. So, moving along, we must wake up. This is the Great Awakening. Moving along. Thus, in today's circumstances, with regards to racism and lack of respect, lack of self-respect, now, I have defined respect and what it means to respect yourself. Now, let's look at the etymological roots of the word respect. Now, when we say we mean to repeat, to redo. And when we say spect, we mean spectacle, as in your spectacles. Again, back to the recurring theme of 2020. If you have 2020 vision here in 2020, then you would respect yourself. That means to look at oneself again and again and again until you know yourself. Now let's continue here. The only answer is love and true care. Now, I do not mean love in the sense or connotation in which one would give to their family or even their love partner, but love in the sense of the principles and laws of the universe, which is natural law, which are set forth for the betterment and well-being of the one in all and the all in one, which is the collective web of consciousness of which we are all interconnected and intertwined with, also known as life, force, energy, or in ancient Asian cultures, qi. It's spelled Qi, that is qi. Now when they say qigong or the ancient martial arts, they use these practices and this language to exemplify life force energy and the significance therein. In other ancient cultures similar to our own, as one suffers, all suffer. That is the axiom of love, or lack thereof. Now, these are principles in nature, this is not my belief, and this is not my opinion. When I say, when one suffers, all suffer, that's not me speaking, that's the universe speaking, that's natural law speaking, and that is nature, objective truth that I only subjectively adhere myself to, and my perceptions. I can only closely align my perceptions to natural law. Now, pardon me here, I've got to correct something. I'm noticing that I am missing something from my... Okay. Now that's good. That's good. Streaming live here on Twitch, I might add, with one viewer. Now, I might also add that this will be going on to YouTube, Facebook, and other various social media platforms. Now, I just had to get that out of the way. Pardon me. As one suffers, all suffer. That is the axiom of love, or lack thereof. Love is the answer, for you cannot give what you don't have. Thus, love yourself and you will love the universe. Likewise, know yourself and you will know the universe. The two go hand in hand. Knowledge is the beginning and one of the two pillars and fundamental principles of which wisdom is built upon. Understanding is the second. Once we understand the knowledge set before us, wisdom is right action. And is the result of love. Now, oh my gosh, I've really messed this up here. I am going to have to correct that. It is a little bit jumbled up here, but in the description, the documentation will be much more put together. Fortunately, I do have the correct variation here. Wisdom is right action and is the result of love and true care. Now, you could see my symbol here. The serpent and dove symbol, the sigil that is constructed of many symbols here that I have designed myself here. And each aspect, each quality of this symbol I intended to imbue with universal objective significance, and the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom aspect of it exemplifies that which I am saying regarding knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, which is the trivium, as they call it, the method of learning. And it is the method of learning all occult sciences, all ancient sciences, not just mathematics, but astronomy, astrology, music, and geometry. Now, when all of these things come together and we know ourselves, I don't think that, we would be so racist towards each other. And we would have self-respect. We would have self-love because we know ourselves and we love ourselves. Thus, consequently and subsequently, we would love the universe and we would know the universe. Now, who is the universe? I have just spoke here. Who is the universe? It is all of us interconnected and intertwined to make up the entire body of human consciousness. And the subconscious mind and the collective memory therein would exemplify that, if you can wrap your mind around that. If you cannot, I would suggest that you go back, respect yourself, and watch the former podcasts. It's worth it. So, Continuing. Love is the answer, for you cannot give what you do not have. Thus, love yourself, and you will love the universe. Likewise, know yourself, and you will know the universe. Knowledge is the beginning and one of two pillars and fundamental principles of which wisdom is built upon. Understanding is the second principle. Now there is a priority here, there's a hierarchy. There are ladders and steps of which we must take, and we must not overstep ourselves. Now, once we understand the knowledge set before us, wisdom is right action and is the result of love and true care. Now I see why my documentation is very jumbled up here, but I did rush into this. I just received the request today to speak on the matter, and I have just put all of this together from the time I had received the request to now, me doing this presentation. So pardon my haste. Like I said, we cannot overstep ourselves. That's a good example. And I do not wish to be an example such as that, but it only works out to the betterment. It only exemplifies what I'm talking about here. So wisdom is right action and is the result of love and true care. Notice these words are capitalized. They are not lowercase because they are significant, and there is positive and negative, lower and greater connotations to these, what I am speaking of. So our each and every action will either build each other up or tear each other down. Now, in context to racism, causes and solutions, I hope I am being concise enough here to convey the message that with race, when we look within, and when we are fighting each other, now it is only people who simply hate each other who could ever speak so harshly towards another race or ethnicity. Only people who do not love themselves could possibly see another in such a light or in such a darkness, whichever way you want to see it, because duality also is of a particular significance here, however way we want to see it. Only those in self-loathing and apathy could possibly look towards another outside of themselves and think that they are separate. Think that they have a different form of life source energy, life force energy. Now, we all have the same, we all operate on the same degree of frequency. The mind, the heart, the earth, and other planetary bodies, we operate on 6 to 8 hertz. Now, Schumann's resonance would speak on that in terms of syncretic wisdom. I would suggest studying all of these things. That's a little bit off topic, but that just comes to my mind. And when we think that we are higher or lower than any other race, that's when we have it wrong. Now, this is a very general statement. These are generalized speakings that I speak of. Not everybody deserves unity, but those who do will hear what I am saying. Not everybody. Now I see I've got a comment here. Now, hate. Now, Travis D, I like what you said there, because you are right. You are right there. Hate is the wrong word to use. Self-hatred. People, when I say people hate themselves, you are right. They don't Like, hate is not the opposite to love. Fear is opposite to love. They fear who they might become if they ever come to the light. So you're correct in saying that, and thank you for bringing that up. I do concur with you there, Travis D. People fear what they do not understand. They have not gone the full way. When I speak of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, they have only come across the knowledge, and it's what they do with that knowledge that will define their quality of understanding, and thus consequently the quality of their wisdom and right action. Now that's why I wish to speak to the heart. And when people take my knowledge and do not understand it, it goes over their head. And they do nothing with this knowledge. So you only exemplify that which I speak of, but only in a much more altruistic sense. Now, thank you for that. Anything else you would like to add, Travis? Now, I would also like to add that this is going on to YouTube once again. For the viewers on YouTube, I am streaming live on Twitch, and I am speaking to Travis live here in the stream chat, who... Let me read to you his comment here. He says, hate? I'd disagree on some level. Misunderstanding feels like a better fit. Now that is it. People fear what they do not understand. And that is the comment of Travis D here. Now, I like reciprocation and I love engagement. I love when I have a community who wishes only to closely align to objective truth. Now, like I said, this is not my opinion here. I might as well shut the show off if I'm going to speak my opinion. Come on, we have enough opinions out there. Racism is an opinion. Belief is an opinion. And a false one of that. Now, I don't believe any of this. I don't have to. I know it. And knowledge, knowing, to know, is one of the two fundamental pillars of wisdom and right action, like I speak of here. So thank you again, Travis D. I will leave it at that. And we have come to the ending of this special presentation here on behalf of... I'm going to look at the magazine because I do not want to get it wrong out of disrespect and ignorance. Now, the magazine, Nipaturuq, that is an Inuvialuit name. It has a symbolic meaning. Now, I did not go as far as to research the symbolic meanings of these magazines and why they prefer to use them. Again, that's... let's put it plain and simple. That's my own ignorance. But in all fairness, I was so excited and so compelled that I got this put together as quickly as possible. Thus my mistakes. So those are just my mistakes. And I think we will end it off on that note. I can only learn from my mistakes, so thank you for pointing these things out, Travis. Like I said, the dynamics and functions of the human consciousness relative to the age and the era that we live in which we are the missing puzzle pieces to each other. Now, I did in fact need you to fill in, because I did not see that at first, that fear is the antithesis to love, not hate. So what I should have said that... Now, racism is a tricky subject. That's correct. Now, that's why in my former podcast, I call it Indigenous people and the enigma of racism. It's all in the wordings there. Now, is it supposed to be an enigma? No, we are supposed to understand this. That is why it as tricky and as uncomfortable as this conversation is, it's one that needs to be had. And we need to get through this. And just as iron sharpens iron by way of friction, I mean, let's face it, I could feel the heat here. So we sharpen each other. And like I say, our each and every action will either build each other up or tear each other down. Now, what is our motivation here? Where do we stand collectively? Where is our common ground? I tell you where I stand. I stand with true care. I stand with true love. Is that always it's not always comfortable. That is not always it's not a smooth ride. Has it ever been a smooth ride? Heck, we've came from smooth ride. We've came from those dimensions of which comfort and perfection are of innate quality and of natural inheritance. Even more so than I speak of here. I mean, if you can understand what I am saying there, that's something else, but that's just what comes to mind. You will either understand it or you won't, and that's fine, okay? So, again, keep it coming. This is the first time I've ever had any sort of interaction on my live Twitch stream, so I am just appreciating all of the reciprocation of these outlooks, perspectives. Not opinions, but objective facts based in practical experiential knowledge. Now, all of this of which I speak is of practical experiential knowledge. Now you say, my view of racism is a learned thought process and someone that is not willing to change won't. Now you say, you're really speaking truth here. There is no controversy between me and you, Travis. Now, you're saying it right there. Someone that is not willing to change won't. Now, there is only two ways to influence change in another person, and that is by reason or force. Now, there's no forcing this. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't get him to drink. Very simple, but very hard-hitting axioms of truth. Axiomatic. Now, the will. Let's speak of the will. When we say willing to change, what is your will? I mean, not you, but those who are not willing to change. Where do they stand? Are they in their lowercase will? Or are they in the will of the universe, backed by true care and true love, where we are in alignment with principles of natural law set in place for our betterment, such as principles of mentalism, principles of correspondence, principles of vibration, principles of gender, principles of polarity. Now there's 7 of them. The eighth principle is the lost principle, which is why we have racism. Now, like I was saying, Travis, I will go as far as to say that only those who are in fear of themselves can possibly look towards another and say such things. Only those who are fearful of the light. And when I say the light, it's themselves. The light, their own light, which is the soul. That's why we call it the solar system, when in context to planetary bodies and the sun. The sun is solar. Now, there's a reason for that. It is synonymous with the soul. That is the light. They fear the light. They fear the soul because they are segmented within their self. Now, when I define individual, an individual is one who is non-divided, non-dual. They are not divided and segmented within themselves so as to be in fear. So, let's see here. Racism doesn't exist in nature, which is why children of different races can love each other. They have to be taught to hate each other. Now you are hitting it right on the money, right on the one eye, which is the true money. Now, you're right. Now I speak of the formative years in context to child psychology, which is human psychology. The first 6 years is the formative years. Now, when children are taught racism, that is reflected throughout their entire life. And it takes understanding of the subconscious mind by the conscious mind to change these things. It takes a conscious willed effort. And again, the will of the universe, when we are in alignment with the universe and we do not see ourselves separate from each other. So again, I absolutely love this reciprocation of knowledge and understanding, and thus consequently results in right action and wisdom, of which we speak and of which there is no controversy, there is no segmentation, there's no walls between us, there's no mirrors, there's no projections of the unconscious mind, because we've gone through it. Like I said, it's the Great Awakening and we are here. It's the year 2020. It's all in the numerology. It's all in the occult sciences. So thank you, Travis, for simply edifying and exemplifying not my words, but words of the universe, which I am so compelled to speak from the heart. Now, this is where we operate from. We operate from the heart center. We operate from the center of our being. Now, when people are divided and dual within themselves, they do not operate from the heart. If they are, their heart is corrupt. Now, even that is a dualistic saying, but that's their own nature. That is the duality, that is the paradoxical nature of their own inconsistency and their own controversy. Now, what is controversy? Let's look at the etymological root of that word. Now, controversy means exactly what I spoke of in terms of duality, and it is the antithesis of the individual who is non-divided, non-dual, thus individed, individual. Thus, they are full of their own controversy. So you speak wise words here. So thank you for that. Thank you for the reciprocation. Thank you for just sharpening my perception towards objective truth embedded in nature, which is where we learn practical knowledge from through experiential experience. When we experience these things because we know it, we've seen it with our own eyes, 20/20 vision. So it is a powerful thing to say, I see. So racism doesn't exist in nature. That's right. That's very right. I'm speaking of nature here. All of these... Now, nature isn't just the grass that we walk on, but it's the stars that we look upon. It is the numerological and geometrical dimensionality of that which we are in awe of, that which we perceive, that which we... I mean, it's all around us, but it's occulted. It's hidden, either for good or for bad. For bad, well, bad people tried to hide it so that there could be a power differential. The bad people use truth for their own good, because truth is all that is. And any deception and lies are only overlaid on top of that truth, which is why we gotta dig and dig and dig to get to the truth. And all of these layers, it takes conscious effort to get through these layers. Now, I hope I am speaking to the heart once more. I understand I might get a little bit fired up, but that's only my own activation. And that is the truth of the matter here. That is just true awakening and true enlightenment is very analogous to being fired up like fire, phoenix rising, the rebirth, the purification, like being put in a furnace, like silver that is purified in a furnace. It is very chaotic in a sense. Not chaos in a bad way, but there are negative connotations to what I am saying, but that is only within the perception of those who have false chaos. And when I say chaos, I mean to be a free radical in this systemic, institutionalized structure that we have in society that does not want true chaos. Okay. I definitely think more. I'd like to say so, that I think along the lines of spirituality, but it is my intention to conjoin spirituality with science, because there is no contradicting, there is no separating the two. It is my intention to bring reconciliation and balance to the spirit world and the physical world, because in all truth of the matter, there is no, like I said, it's all intertwined. It is all whole. And when we get caught up in controversy, that whole becomes an infinite loop of controversy. Now, this is eternity here, but duality will have us infinitely split into two. Now, this is eternity, it's a circle, but duality causes the infinite loops, the infinite cycles, and now it's two circles intertwined, kind of caught in a twist, caught in the controversy. Now, I hope that rings or resonates with you on some level there, Travis, and any and all who are watching. Now, everybody who will be watching on YouTube and Facebook, now they will be, I hope this will ring true for them as well. I hope this can resonate, because I know what I am speaking is only intended for specific people. Now, I am just one person. I cannot save the world. I'm not trying to save the world. I am trying to just simply do what I can. Do what I came here to do. Not to be trampled by harsh fates, but to enact my own destiny. That is the difference between destiny and fate. Fate is the result of stagnance and ignorance. Now, harsh fate. Destiny is the antithesis to that, where the higher will and true care and true love is enacted by right action and wisdom here in the real world. Now, that is the difference between destiny and fate, I might add. Now, I think I will leave it off on that note. Oh, now you are speaking correctly here. When you say duality isn't all bad, I think it is important for understanding that is correct, because if I simply deny duality, then that itself is the false chaos of duality within myself, because I still must work within the confines and parameters and restrictions of duality, which is why we have a physical body. But that is duality within duality. If you can understand the paradoxical nature of what I am saying here, it kind of takes a unified sense of truth and mind and spirit. Like I said, you will either understand this or you won't. But that's fine, okay? Maybe you will? Maybe you do? I'm not sure, but I am just speaking from the heart. with true care, with the intentions and motivation to bring balance and harmony and reconciliation. Again, we're still speaking on the topic of racism here. So consider the word individuality. It's all in the words again. Remember, it's all in the words. No, you don't gotta apologize. I think that is a good note to end off on. I definitely think that was a good discussion, and it is very beneficial for all of the viewers to hear because, like I said, we are the missing puzzle pieces to each other, and not one person can do it alone. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and that is very true. It's simple, but it's true. Truth is always simple. But duality will have us thinking it's complex. So I hope that is enough said. Thank you again. I agree that is a good discussion, and again, you have not been holding me up, but in a dualistic sense, you are holding me up. I hope I am doing the same with you. I hope I am holding you up. So, thanks. Thanks again. And I think we will end off on that note. So everybody, that is A. Travis D., my only viewer here on the Serpent and Dove live show. I get roughly 1 to 2 viewers, but like I said, I'm not here to... This is not for everybody. So thank you again. And we will end off on that note. Thanks to everybody watching. My name is Aiden Kanezi here on the Serpent and Dove Network. Catch me on Facebook. Check me out on Instagram. I am also on TikTok. I am on YouTube and here live on Twitch. So thank you once again. I am very just honored to be here, honored to speak on the matter of racism on behalf of Nipaturuq and Tusaayaksat. So thank you. Have a good day or evening wherever you are.